Welcome, Patriots. Here we are. We've got a special treat for you tonight. We are going to show you guys and have a watch party with the makers of Out of Shadows movie documentary. Oh my gosh, I am just shot out of a cannon right now. Let me bring on everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share, and that way we can bring everybody over here. Let me get over to the correct window. I just want to really quick tell you guys, Mike and Brad, you guys can unmute now. But I want to bring you into Brad. Brad, we haven't talked to you yet, and just want to let you know that we just came from the Ann Vandersteel show. You guys did great over there, and wanted you to say hi to everybody out there in on our channel right now.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much for having me. It's honor to be here. I'm super stoked for you guys to see this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, where we go one, we go all, guys. I feel like I just had a baby.
You did. This is your baby. This is all your babies.
Years, man. I'm like, oh God, I hope it's not an ugly baby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
You know, I may have seen a little bit of it, Mike, and it's not ugly at all. It is the most beautiful baby I've seen in a long time. And you know it's good.
Just hold its hair and tell you love it. That's all I want.
Yeah, and we're going to watch it with everybody here. And wanted to also bring in Liz Crokin. Liz, I think you're celebrating with a little Prosecco right now. Well deserved.
You guys, seriously, I haven't had one drink since the lockdown started. So what, that's been 3 weeks?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Just stay focused on research and, but I think tonight I've earned it.
You've earned it. You've all earned it. You've all earned it.
This has been 2 years. I mean, I just hope that our efforts are well received. That's all I hope.
You know what I think is really cool? That Brad actually may or may not have played the character that I play on Twitter. I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah, Brad was in the Matrix. Brad was one of the dude. Did you get a Harley?
He's an Agent Smith,
wait.
man.
Yeah, I was one of the guys that got a Harley.
Did Keanu give you a Harley? He gave you a Harley.
Yeah, wow. Keanu bought me and.
Oh my gosh, he did?
Yeah, he gave all.
Dude, he's an Agent Smith.
Yeah, he was.
I love it.
That is so.
Keanu gave Brad a Harley. What did you do with that Harley, Brad?
Dude, yeah. Keanu was awesome, dude. He bought 8 of us FX Dynaglides and bought 4 Sportsters for the rest of the stunt guys. It was amazing.
What'd you do with it, Brad?
Dude, are you serious?
No,
he wrecked it, man. He did a stunt.
Like, what is he supposed to do with it?
Right? What does a stunt guy do with a motorcycle? That sounds like a joke, maybe.
No, yeah, for Matrix Reloaded, I doubled Agent Smith. I was one of the guys, so I played your character.
Wow, that's so amazing, man! And Spider-Man and all the cool, and we've got Batman, Spider-Man, Agent Smith, Bond. I mean, we have got so many popular people in and Liz Crokin. I mean, and did Carol get the invite? Carol Baskin? Did she get it?
Baskin! Oh my gosh!
You didn't invite Carol Baskins?
Right. Is she coming? I think she should be here. I gave her the invite, Mike.
If it gets taken down, it's Carol Baskin's fault.
Yeah, if this movie gets taken down, it's Carol effing Baskin's fault.
Carol Baskins.
Guys, look at this, man. Look at how awesome and proud these guys are, and they should be proud. I'm proud of you. Let's see some 17s out there if you guys are proud. Let's see what we got here.
So hey, Matrix, Shady. I'm going to share this on social media.
Yes.
I'll just go to your
how do we get? I think I shared this on Twitter.
I DM'd you both you, Brad. I DM'd you the link.
Yeah.
I'm not really that. Not many people know who I am, so I only have like 15,000 followers. So it's all good.
We're trying to get Out of Shadows watch party trending. I'm seeing that Trolls watch party is trending. We should try to get
Trolls watch party, guys.
It's number 2. We should try to get Out of Shadows watch party.
Right. Let me remind you guys, we have Liz Crokin, Brad Martin, and Mike Smith, who are the creators of Out of Shadows, the documentary, the official show that has been released on 4/10/20 as promised. And guess what? It's an hour and 17 minutes long. So you guys want to start this, guys? What do you guys think?
I would like to say to the guys real quick, you guys have really outdone yourselves on this. This is an amazing piece of work. I think the audience is going to be extraordinarily happy with what you've done. Not only that, but the ability for us to help our friends and family members wake up. I think this is just going to be a massive, massive bridge for the movement. The whole movement of patriots and truth is going to be really emboldened by this piece of work, and just a stellar job.
I mean, I couldn't say it any better, Shady. It's amazing. It's amazing. These guys work so hard, so much of their time, effort, money spent on this documentary, guys. What do you guys think? Mike, you want to kick it off?
Well, can I kick
Liz?
it off?
You guys, yes, absolutely.
I just want to let the audience know to keep in mind that Brad and Mike have sacrificed everything for this. They're obviously sacrificing their careers in Hollywood. You know, Mike is the one that started this. It was his idea. And, you know, he has put a ton of his money into it, his heart and soul. He moved across the country. He moved out of Hollywood. He moved across the country. And they both are taking a big risk, you know, by coming out of the shadows and doing this. And so I just want everyone to keep that in mind. And I'm just so proud of you guys. What you guys are doing is so courageous. And we just pray that everyone loves it. Sorry, my phone's ringing. And if just one other person in Hollywood comes out and speaks out about these truths, then we'll be happy. Then our mission has been a success.
100%. And yeah, they've given up an awful lot, guys. And I'm so proud of them.
They really have. And it's like I said, it's an amazing piece of work. And I think that the community is going to receive them very well. And then I think others are going to be strengthened to tell their story the same.
Right. Anybody else? Mike?
I just want to, oh God, I'm.
It's all right, Mike, let it out.
This has been such a journey, and it's been, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do this without people like Brad or Liz, Kevin Shipp, and all the people that helped us put this thing together. I took a leap of faith. God, you know, I found God, found Jesus, and I did what I was being called to do. And I just want this to be a blessed project. I just want the message to go out like, hey, look, you know, there's a lot of things in this world that we've all been deceived by. And I guess my main message is I worked in Hollywood for 28 years and I couldn't see the deception. So if I couldn't see it and I'm in the middle of it, how would the public ever see these things? Mm-hmm. Unless somebody like myself or Brad or Liz or Kevin ever did it. And I'm a filmmaker, and in the modern age, if God was choosing someone to tell a story, I do not believe he would choose a writer. I think in this media world, he would choose a filmmaker. And so I believe he chose us to tell the story and expose the dark to light. And there's, you know, God bless our president. God bless Michael Flynn. God bless the Q movement. God bless all the patriots who work tirelessly. And I don't even want to name all the anons I follow and I'm fans of, but I just want to thank you all. I'm just trying to do my little part. And God called me and he said, look, don't charge for this. Don't try to make money off of this. Just put it out there and let the world see the truth, and I'll reward you and your team in other ways.
Tenfold.
And that's what we're doing. This is completely free. I want you to share it with as many people as you can share it with. I want you to help start a conversation with the people who all think you're wackadoodles for researching and trying to tell them stuff, because I'm Cuckoo Bird Mike to everybody I know. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to find the truth, and we're all trying to find the truth. So I have to tell you one thing that made me cry today. I have a friend who's been in Hollywood for 28 years, and I've been praying for her for a long time. And she gave her Lord to Jesus Christ tonight. And she called me and she said, hey, because I sent her the video before all this. And she said, you confirmed things I didn't even know I knew. And so I just want everybody to know this is a battle between good and evil. You have to be strong and put the armor of God on, because to fight this fight, you're going to get punched in the face unless you're strong in your faith. Mm-hmm. So that's all I want to say. I love you all. God bless you all. And I hope you enjoy this. If you don't, turn it off. No big deal. If you love it, share it, please.
Yeah. Brad.
Yeah, I just want to first give huge props to Mike. We've known each other since we got in the business for almost 30 years. But we reconnected the last couple of years since we both woke up again, and we've just realized how much more we have in common now, how much we've been sharing. And I just want to give you huge props, dude, for claiming this, saying what you're going to do, and following up and finishing it. I think that was solid. This is a solid project, and you crushed it, dude. And I'm super proud of you. But what you said earlier about, you got Batman and Spider-Man and Robin and Daredevil, whoever is here, all these superheroes, and Liz. Well, the one superhero that is actually here is Liz. We were just make-believe. The rest of us were just doing BS stuff.
Amen.
So, amen, Brad. So well said. So, amen, Brad Martin. Amen. I love you.
So sweet. We're all in this together. Teamwork makes the dream works. And Matrix, Shady, you guys have done so much to help get the word out about our doc. So we are so grateful for you. And we owe you a nice big steak dinner, because you've played a big role in this as well. So, where we go one, we go all. That's what it's all about.
We go all. And I'll buy the steak, though, if you come to Florida, though. And the Prosecco. And I'll open it for you. I guess. Brad, anything else you want to say before I want to take us? I want to say a little something, too, before we kick it off. Any final thoughts?
No, you probably won't see Mike and I in Hollywood much anymore, but hopefully we'll be doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we kind of committed career suicide, but you know what?
No, don't look at it that way.
It's possible you did it.
You just started a new career today, and it's going to be so much better than anything you've ever done in Hollywood. So
I think so too.
You know what? Honestly, what God told me, and I'm going to start crying about. God told me when I got saved. And that's a whole nother story. And one day I'll tell my testimony. But when he got saved, he told me, he said, Mike, hey, look, I showed you all this. You know what's going on. I want you to sell everything you have in California. I want you to move to where I moved to in Tennessee. And I want you to build something for the Christians. And I was a horrible Christian. And I'm not a perfect person. But I did what God told me to do. And I did this on a leap of faith. And I have followed my heart and followed what God and the Holy Spirit's told me. And Brad has come to Christ. And Liz is a born-again Christian. And Kevin Shipp is a born-again Christian. And we've prayed over every part of this documentary. Because in order to fight this battle, this is good versus evil. Mm-hmm. And you can't sit on the fence. You have to make a choice. And Mark Taylor says, you got to take the ground for the Christians when evil falls. And I heard that call, and I charged that battle. And I love being a warrior. And Brad and I have been in martial arts since we were little. And this is not a physical battle. This is a battle in the spiritual realm. And every person, man, woman, child, doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your physical persona. It's about your warrior spirit for the Lord. And I want you to know you guys are all powerful in Christ, and all you have to do is come together and we can change this world. And I want to say that. So amen.
Amen. And so I'd like to just go ahead and say something real quick too here. If you don't mind, let me get this set up real quick so I can get it so you guys can hear it. There we go. So basically, I want to just say this. Finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power, but put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand and against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you've done everything to stand firm then with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all of this, take up the shield of faith, of which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of spirit, which is the word of God. Prepare for God and country, for humanity, we fight. And that's Q post. And I'd like to just send you off with that, guys. I love you guys so much. So there you go.
Amen. Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah.
Love you. Love you so much.
I love you guys too. And so I'm going to go ahead and share this screen now for you. And let's get over to the show, Out of Shadows Official. And let's start this watch party. Guys, if you guys want to maybe, like if you guys have something you guys want to have input on or anything like that, just stop us and we can stop, okay?
Well, do you want to stop the show or do you want to just watch it? How do you want to do that?
Let's just watch it. And then
I think you should watch it because it steps into everything, kind of leads to stuff. We can discuss it as much as you want. There'll be plenty of time to do it. But I think you got to kind of, everything kind of takes you to a different place because like when you wake somebody up, this is not about for the anons who are super clued in. This isn't going to be earth shattering. But for the people that you're trying to wake up, this is what this was designed to do. This is like the first red pill we can give you. It's kind of like Joe M's
plan to save the world. Yeah.
It's like, hey, oh, what's Q about? Well, here, watch this. Well, this is kind of like, hey, what's this about? But in a kind of a feature format.
All right, so let's get your popcorn, get comfy.
And get comfy out there. And just so everyone knows, before we fire it up here, if it's buffering a little bit, back up the stream just a few seconds and it'll play just fine. And if your resolution is low, YouTube sends the resolution out low, so bump that up and sit back and enjoy watching the work of the artists here. Wow, what an honor it is to have you guys with us tonight.
Let me make sure I have the wrong one here.
There is no one else I would want to watch this with than you two guys. And my
oh my gosh.
Now you're gonna make me cry.
Nah, I know, stop it, man.
And I want to tell you one thing before we get going.
Yeah.
When Brad told me he wanted to be in this documentary, I literally had the inspiration to be in this documentary because in the beginning I was too scared to do it, and he
just always wants to do what I do.
He wants to be like Brad.
I was cool at one point, but Brad is dude. Brad is probably the best stunt guy I've ever met.
You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Two stunt dudes giving each other a little bit of crap. I kind of like it. It's like me and Shady, right, Shady?
Sounds that way, doesn't it?
It does. All right, guys. So this is it, guys. Are you ready? And congratulations to all you guys. Here we go. This is Out of Shadows by Liz Crokin, Brad Martin, and Mike Smith. Let's check it out right now. Oh.
That looks official.
It's official now. Here we go.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
So we've all heard the term conspiracy theory. Personally, for me, I've never really had time to get into any of that because, frankly, I'm working all the time and I don't have the time to look into Bigfoot or aliens or flat Earth or 9/11 conspiracy or the JFK assassination. It's just, it's not anything that I really have any backstory on. But the one thing that I do have a lot of backstory on, the one thing I do know a lot about is Hollywood.
When you think about the entertainment industry, what comes to mind? Movies, TV, music, right? Let's talk about this entertainment.
I've been observing you.
What if this entertainment was more than just entertainment?
Now in complete control!
When you're driving home from work, what are you listening to? When you come home after a long day and turn on the TV, what do you see?
The U.S. are bracing.
Saying that the one.
Think about all the content you've seen throughout your whole life. A lot of it has actually made us who we are today.
So you don't know what's really going on.
Have you ever stopped for just a second, though, and questioned the content?
Good morning, Vietnam!
The only thing we consume more than content is air. But we actually think about the quality of the air we breathe. Maybe it's time to take a closer look at our content.
And fear. Taxes.
Our government's always controlled our content.
The fight for freedom.
We've just never paid attention.
Freedom of speech.
Message received.
The police occupy our community.
To work with the CIA to destabilize foreign countries.
This media that we're consuming at such a rapid rate, we need to slow down and think about what we're consuming.
Bullshit going on.
What if the people in charge didn't have our best interests in mind? Now we have to ask ourselves, who's influencing our content?
Is the CIA involved in Hollywood?
Yes.
Guys, come ahead.
I'm rolling. Go. That's good right there. It's picking up speed. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
So for the past 28 years, I've probably had one of the coolest jobs in the world. I was a professional stunt performer. I've worked with some of the biggest stars. I've got to be Batman. I've got to be James Bond. I've won World Stunt Awards. I am in the Screen Actors Guild. I'm in the DGA. I'm in the WGA. And last year, I got into the Academy, the Oscars. I worked my way up from being a stuntman to being a fight coordinator, to being a stunt coordinator, to being a second unit director. Action! First big job I get, I'm on Batman Forever. And I'm walking around set and I'm pinching myself. I'm looking over, there's Tommy Lee Jones, there's Jim Carrey, there's Val Kilmer, there's Drew Barrymore, there's Nicole Kidman. And I'm like, how did I get here? I didn't really say I'm gonna go be a stuntman. I wanted to go make movies. But being a stuntman was the easiest way for me to get into the business. I didn't want to be an actor because you're pretending to be a character. Well, being a stuntman, I was that character. I was the guy behind the illusion, creating it for the guy who's on the screen. I jumped out of that helicopter. I was in that fireball. I did whatever was being asked of the job. I've had an amazing career, and I've had an amazing life.
That's a cut, that's a cut.
But in the system that exists today, as I get up the ladder, I realize it's not what people think it is. It's an illusion. It is a complete illusion. We're gonna put our pick and our turning shift. In 2014, I was working on a television show up in Portland, and I had a catastrophic injury. I've done this stunt, probably variations of it 20 times over my career. It was nothing. It was a small fall down into a stairwell. I did the first take fine, the second take, I knew I could do it better. I went up and I fell over the rail and I landed on the pipe down below and I burst fractured my L2 vertebrae and I was paralyzed from the waist down. When you are injured, when you are catastrophically injured and it changes who you are, I knew from that day I would never be the athlete that I once was. And I always told people as a stuntman, the worst possible injury you can get is a lower back injury. You can break your legs, your arms, whatever, but if you injure your lower back or your hips, your pelvic region, you're done. There was 2 years that I didn't think I would ever live without pain. One of the issues I was dealing with at that time was I had lost the feeling, and I still have numbness in my thighs and on this half of my pelvic region. I was going to physical therapy and the lady looks at me and she goes, "This isn't really helping you. You're way more advanced than this stuff." And I go, "Yeah, I do this every morning." She goes, "Well, what's the real issue?" I said, "The real issue is my pelvic region." And so she said, "Okay, well, there's a woman who works here and she is a pelvic floor therapist."
So how I met Mike, I met him, his spine was broken and he had partial paralyzation of his pelvic floor area. We help people when they have problems with the most important functions in your life, bowel, bladder, and sexual function.
So one day we're in the middle of therapy and she stops me and she says, "Mike, I feel like you have really dark spirits over you. Can I pray for you?" And I was like, "Pray for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, pray for me. I don't really believe in that stuff anymore, but yeah, go ahead, pray for me." So she prays for me. And I was kind of thinking while she's doing it, okay, this is weird, but okay, whatever. So for the next 2 or 3 months, I would go, and then every now and then she would stop me and she'd say, "Hey, can I pray over you?"
I was kind of a little bit disgusted with his personality because he was all about himself and money, and I think the Lord had a lot of work to do in terms of humility with him. He made it very clear that he thought I was crazy, but he let me.
After she stopped one day, and I said, "You are either 100% batshit crazy, or you think all this is real in the spirit world." And she looked at me and she said, "Michael, I am one of the only pelvic floor therapists in Southern California at the time. And when these satanic people and these evil people do their rituals to little girls and women and boys, who do you think puts them back together? I do. It's completely real, and you need to look into it."
My awakening, it didn't happen at church the way that some people find God. I just pretty much had given up my faith and I'd given up where I was at, and I was just kind of at the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have the best time I can here, and when I die, that's it.
I still wasn't sure if it wasn't 100% crazy or not, but I was reading these articles and looking at these things, and I was like, I've seen things at parties, I've seen artwork, I've seen statues, I've seen things in some people's houses that just seem to be mimicking occult stuff I'm reading about. So I was like, maybe there is something to this. I'm just gonna say this. I didn't find God because I went to church. I found God because I realized that the Luciferian and the other side, the occult world, was real, and that I had been fooled for all these years, and I then got really scared. I got really scared because this was the first time in my life that I was having to question my own reality. Physically, I was crushed. I wasn't going to be who I was. And spiritually, I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't know anything about being a Christian. I mean, really. And then professionally, everything that I knew about my career, I was starting to look at in a different way. I was starting to question my career in Hollywood from a different perspective. So I got off of social media and I made an anonymous account. I started reading blogs, looking at articles. I started reading books. I started watching videos online. I just started searching for the truth, and I was finding accounts that were searching for the truth themselves. They weren't mainstream accounts. These were accounts online that I felt like were like me. They were just looking for what the truth was. I didn't believe I was getting the truth from CNN, MSNBC, Fox. I didn't believe any of them. I just wanted to read it, absorb it, and digest it, and trust what my gut told me I was reading. As I did my research, I began to understand there's a very small group of people that influence all the companies that we watch. So they used to call them the Big Six. But Disney just bought Fox, and Disney controls Marvel, and Disney owns Lucas Studios. So look at that giant audience right here. Say a small group of people control the narratives and the content that we all see on all the channels. It makes you feel like, oh, I have lots of choices, but you don't. Who's telling them what to put on those channels? Where does that lead?
Tonight, the FBI is on the case, and they are warning big companies in America to protect their data after a big Hollywood studio got hit by hackers and several blockbuster movies ended up online.
This is the first time the United States has accused a foreign government of a cyber attack against an American corporation.
And this interested me because I worked over at Sony quite a bit during my career, and I actually had to get LifeLock during the Sony hack, so I was curious. I was like, what was this really about? Well, the narrative put out in the public was Seth Rogen and James Franco made a movie about North Korea. And so they were mad, and so they decided to hack Sony to teach them a lesson. That was a public narrative that went out, and that's what I was like, well, that makes sense. You know, I know Seth and I know James, and they're definitely pushed the envelope of comedy, and their sense of humor is definitely their own. And I thought to myself, okay, that makes sense.
And now private emails are going public.
It's a public relations disaster.
But what I found really interesting as I examined the WikiLeaks documents was it showed that the heads of one of our biggest movie studios in America was in direct communication with very important people in our government. It didn't surprise me. I was like, okay, well, either they're friends or there's something more to it. So I never really thought about the government influencing our content or our stories. Could they be influencing our story and our content? These were real questions that I never had asked myself. I just did the jobs. I went to work, I did my job, I did whatever was asked, and went home. Never thought about this stuff. So I was like, I don't really know anybody that can answer these questions. And I reached out to this guy who I'd been watching online. His name was Kevin Shipp. And for those of you who don't know who Kevin Shipp is, he's a CIA whistleblower. He worked in counterintelligence, and he served in many capacities in his tenure at the CIA.
This is The Big Picture, an official television report to the nation from the United States Army.
It was an OSS memo, the precursor to the CIA, where they were doing a study of the use of motion pictures in America as a means of psychological warfare. So it goes all the way back to pre-1947, when U.S. intelligence was using motion pictures to alter the thinking of Americans in the United States.
The morale of our troops is high. The laughter, music, and general entertainment which comes out of a single small package like this one have helped to build that morale.
The CIA is funneling information into Hollywood. Hollywood is putting out in the movies, and the population believes it.
Taxes to bury the
the Axis.
This document right here is a FOIA document. Anybody in America, anybody can request this. It's Freedom of Information Act. And in the 40s, they were telling you they controlled the radio stations. They controlled most of the mainstream media. They're telling you right here that motion pictures are used as psychological warfare. Why would they stop doing it?
At no time has the CIA engaged in any political activity or any intelligence activity that was not approved at the highest level.
Alan Dulles groomed and recruited Ian Fleming, and Dulles and the CIA actually helped Fleming write his books and paint the CIA in a favorable light. And they also, Dulles helped produce Thunderball to make the CIA and agents look like honorable, cool people. The CIA actually helped him write the books and write the script for that movie. And then the president of MPAA was actually providing intelligence to the CIA as an operative in that position in Hollywood.
Mr. Fleming, in your books there's a great amount of detail. Is this detail based on personal experience? Do you make it up? Where does it come from?
Well, I can say it's 90% from personal experience, really. Of course, if I started sticking too close to the true espionage work of today, I should be in trouble with the Official Secrets Act in England, even supposing I had access to information.
There's no question about the fact that Mockingbird is real. It started out paying journalists in major media, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalists, to print fake stories that the CIA wanted in the press and fake interviews. And this was revealed in the Church Committee.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal? We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
And of course, then the CIA destroyed the rest of the files, which is what they do. George H.W. Bush came out and finally made the statement about Mockingbird. Well, we're going to officially stop the Mockingbird program. The CIA will no longer pay journalists to write stories. From now on, the program is voluntary, which means Mockingbird continues today. When's the last time you've seen a mainstream media outlet do a serious investigative report on the actions of the CIA? There's a reason for that.
This would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully.
You say that continues today?
Well, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations of the period of the 1970s, it seems to me that a reporter's got to be much more circumspect in doing it now, or he runs the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public. I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
Platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 There is something about the way the CIA has been functioning that is casting a shadow on our historic position of freedom, and I feel we need to correct it.
Senator Moynihan proposed a bill to dismantle the CIA.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Introduced it twice. The second time was 1995. Ironically, 1 year later, in 1996, the CIA established the Entertainment Liaison Office, which was specifically penetrated into Hollywood, and Chase Brandon was actually co-wrote scripts. For example, The Recruit.
We're looking for high horsepower, high energy, very competitive people who are driven by patriotism and a sense of wanting to serve a greater cause.
I am recruiting you. Would I have to kill anyone? Would you like to?
So the CIA was and is in Hollywood, was and is contributing to Hollywood productions and that manipulation.
The Recruit.
Nothing is what it seems.
As I started to wake up, I never actually considered that the CIA had an office in Hollywood. And I'm like, well, I see this, I see that. And I started putting feelers out, like, does anybody else see this stuff? And not many people were awake. But the one person that I reached out to was an old colleague of mine, a friend of mine named Brad Martin. And Brad and I had similar careers. We worked our way up through the business together. And I'm like, hey, Brad, you've seen this, you've seen that? And he's like, yeah, for sure. And so that gave me strength. That gave me like, okay, well, I'm not alone in this deal. And I'm gonna keep looking.
Let me just say this. Brad's one of the greatest stuntmen I've ever met. Probably the best.
I'm a very physically creative person. I've been doing action for movies for 26, 27 years. I excelled at the action aspect of it, at the physical aspect of doing the fights and doing the gymnastics and doing the falls and doing the driving. I trained really hard and became one of the top stuntmen in the business. I started becoming a fight coordinator, and then a stunt coordinator, and then an action director. Very few people have ever gotten to where I've gotten to, and I'm super proud of what I did. I mean, I had a very idealistic view of the movie business, and I've been disillusioned a few times. It feels very much like there's an agenda in every movie. I realized that it was more of a machine, and it was more of they just needed content to put out there for the masses. I stopped really watching TV. I stopped really watching movies. And one of the reasons why I stopped watching movies is I got into my research and what's going on in the world right now, and all the corruptness and all of the plot twists of reality. And I started realizing that reality is 20 times more interesting than Hollywood. I mean, I was a Hollywood buff. I loved all of those movies, but now they're meaningless because I know what's going on right now actually has purpose and has a meaning, and there are consequences. And once this story is told on what's happening in the world right now, and all of the powers that be battling each other, it will be the greatest story ever told. Like, for instance, I saw something on History Channel talking about how the CIA helped Disney buy all the swampland in Florida. Well, why on earth would they do that?
His lawyers in charge of purchasing the parcels had served in military intelligence during World War II and knew how to keep a secret. And they used several different companies, none with Disney's name, to acquire the properties.
Now I go down this rabbit hole of what does the CIA have to do with Hollywood, or at least with Disney? Washington, D.C. is definitely in Hollywood. I have seen documents of the DoD and the CIA writing to the studio heads, guiding them in certain fashion. There's a lot of things that people would talk about that are conspiracy theory, but there's some things that ring true with me. It's like, oh wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Another program developed by the CIA after World War II was called Operation Paperclip. It's been depicted in many movies, including Disney's Marvel series.
It's Operation Paperclip after World War II. SHIELD recruited German scientists with strategic value.
They thought I could help their cause.
Operation Paperclip, and this is something people need to know because it has been so covered up and mocked and berated and claimed to be a conspiracy theory. And by the way, the term labeling people as conspiracy theorists was invented by the CIA to deflect any attention over the JFK assassination. They invented that word as a way to shut down any scrutiny or just critical investigation of what they were doing. So they started that whole ball rolling. In terms of Operation Paperclip, it is documented. There's absolutely no question about it. Alan Dulles, CIA director, was associate of Heinrich Himmler of the Third Reich. So what Dulles proceeded to do when the Third Reich was brought down was he secretly brought all of the top Nazi scientists into the U.S. He falsified their files that he gave to Harry Truman, making them look like there were no war crimes. They brought these Nazi scientists into the CIA to work for the CIA, and that includes the human experiments they conducted on Jewish men, women, and children, and the psychological studies that these Nazi scientists had done. The CIA was using their expertise for these programs through Operation Paperclip, and this was Nazi, much of it occult beliefs that the CIA adopted and actually put these people on their payroll.
One of the programs that came out of Operation Paperclip was MKUltra. Now, MKUltra was a very complex program that dealt with human experiments and mind manipulation.
As this 1952 CIA memo says, the aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against such fundamental laws of nature as self-preservation.
In the Church Committee, MKUltra came out as an actual program of mind control using mental, physical, and sexual abuse and psychotropic drugs.
Lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD.
It was one of the first times that anybody had run into a powerful drug that was different than anything else that they knew anything about.
A decision was made at the highest levels of the CIA to do testing on unwitting Americans.
At Ravenscraig, Dr. Cameron went further with drugs and electric shock treatments than any researchers in the MKUltra project dared. His aim was to wipe the mind clean. Then he would implant new messages by forcing the patient to listen to a hypnotic repetition as many as 250,000 times. This was called psychic driving.
He would give the patient intensive electric treatment. He would attempt to implant new ideas in the mind of the patient.
Now, to a layman, it would appear that Dr. Cameron was trying to take the slate and wipe it clean, the slate being the mind. In other words, brainwashing.
Exactly, that's a very good comparison.
Brainwashing.
Yes, to that.
No. Oh, good heavens.
You're doing fine, just try to describe it. Oh, you don't know, you want to give yourself surgery.
How do you feel inside? Inside? I'm living inside.
Nobody explained it to me. Nobody ever asked me if I was willing to do it or anything.
They put me on sleep treatment. And now they kept you asleep for 23 days. And while I was asleep, they were shocking the heck out of me with electric shocks and playing tapes.
Why are you letting away responsibility? Why are you
It was really like a concentration camp.
What a feeling that is. You mind if I look this way?
You look that way. Nothing for you to watch here, but you're going to talk to me as we go along.
They couldn't go any further because CIA Director Richard Helms destroyed all the CIA's MKUltra documents, and they had to rely on coached witnesses. So they were never able to dig even deeper. What they got was bad enough. It was never terminated. There's no evidence that it was ever terminated. No documents, no nothing, and not even an admission by the CIA that it's been terminated.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling better, thank you.
Feeling better? Are you sleeping well?
Yes, I'm sleeping better now.
We could disable a whole city by putting a very small amount on a water supply. After all of these years of us, those of us who are involved in looking for this secret drug, this was the only thing that began to look for the first time like it might be something like that.
So MK Ultra was one of the hardest programs for me to wrap my head around because it's a lot of subset programs. And I was really surprised that Brad Martin knew about MK Ultra.
People think that research people are crazy for talking about MK Ultra, mind control. Even if they acknowledge that that existed, they go, oh, well, that ended in the 70s. That's a crock of shit.
And perhaps the world's only hope of stopping a sinister assassination plot.
The movie that I did involving that topic was Zoolander.
The fashion industry has been behind every major political assassination over the last 200 years.
I mean, at the time, I was making a comedy and I had no idea what I was involved with. But now looking back on the movie, I'm blown away at just the propaganda.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
In a movie like Zoolander, when they're showing you that they're controlling Derek Zoolander's mind through mind control, you realize that they're trying to desensitize you and to make you think that what you're watching is fiction because it's in a comedy.
It's like a mass MK Ultra now. Their purpose is to capture the minds of the people and feed them false history. The CIA is funneling information into Hollywood. Hollywood is putting out in the movies, and the population believes it.
All right, so look, here's the deal. They have been desensitizing us since we were born, and I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient Druids, back in the day, used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the Magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, television. And when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it.
Starting in 1900, we entered a previously unimaginable time of modern technology. Advances that allowed the rulers of this world to construct and direct our stories in ways we previously never imagined. As a result, new techniques to control the population were realized. These are the people from the companies that we have trusted to deliver us our news and tell our stories. This has always been about controlling what we as the population think and hear. They help create our culture and influence our society. We as citizens only trust them because as a society, we think that the gatekeepers have our best interest in mind.
The dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts, and it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job. That is our job. That is our job. Our job.
As I was researching, I found that most of the early communication companies were developed for shipping or aviation. And a lot of the men that started these companies were commissioned by the military during World War I and World War II. Many of these men worked for the Army and Navy intelligence services along with the OSS, which we know became the CIA. There were many examples of these men becoming the heads or founders of some of the biggest motion picture and media companies before and after their government or military service. I wanted to know how many of the media companies in today's world connected back to Washington. So I started looking. It was like a family tree. The connections between our government personnel and the media corporations was unbelievable. Google, Amazon, Netflix, Twitter, CNN, ABC. So what would happen if all these companies had the same political ideology or agenda? We as this population like to hear people confirm our confirmation biases. We like to hear people tell us that we're right. We don't like to be wrong. And we believe that the people on the media and the people that we're listening to have our best interests in mind. The problem is what if they don't? So if you stop and think about it, they can place any agenda on the population that they choose.
I think that Hollywood is teaching bad morals to the youth of this country, as well as adults. Desensitizing of violence to the masses. You can't deny that. My kids have seen so many people get killed in very violent ways.
3 times as much gun violence now.
And the sex that's in PG-13 movies.
Why?
Every Disney movie, there's a major character, usually a parent, that gets killed. Trauma to the child. Why? It's so horrible. What a bad story. Why do you need to start a story with a parent dying? Always. It's so sad.
Under MK Ultra, they experimented on children. We were even taught this in psychophysiology program that if you get to a child between ages 1 and 6 or 1 or 8, especially with sexual abuse or sexual trauma, you will split their personality and they will be imprinted the rest of their life. And many times that results in split personalities and dissociative behavior and other things.
These occult topics are being introduced to our kids and most parents aren't even aware of it. So the biggest surge with this occult type material took place in the late 60s and the early 70s with movies like The Exorcist, Amityville Horror, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, and Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. And coincidentally, this same time period, it parallels the rise of the Church of Satan in Los Angeles, and it was founded by a guy named Anton LaVey.
So it is done.
When I was a police officer, we had cases of satanic cults right in Arlington, Virginia. Those have been around for decades. They're in the high schools, they're in the colleges, they're in the government, and they're in Hollywood.
I got to meet people like Sammy Davis and that kind of shit. Sammy told me he worshiped the devil. Sammy was like, you know, Satan is as powerful as God. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He says, why do you think there's so much anger in the world and killing and murder and Satan? And he saw my reaction to it, then he kind of lightened up on it. And he was like, the downtown is dark, and it's the candles on the table and Sammy's face over the candle. You know, Satan is as powerful as God.
From our point of view, it really makes no difference whether you pray to a father god or to a mother goddess or to an entire gaggle of gods and goddesses.
Michael Aquino was a high-level officer in the National Security Agency. He was and is, you'll see him today, a practicing Satanist. He created the Satanic Temple of Set, which he still runs. He was a high-level NSA officer. He's a member of the association I used to be in, the Association of Former Intelligence Officers, AFIO. He's a member of that. He's plugged in big time to the intelligence community, and he wrote a paper called Mind War. And Mind War was about psychological operations against populations, including the domestic population, using Satanist techniques and tools.
Aquino was first involved in MK Ultra operations during the Vietnam War as part of the Phoenix program.
No, first I've been involved in intelligence and psychological operations for about 40 years in all levels of it and across the intelligence community.
You are a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army.
Correct.
Now,
And how does the Army feel about you being head of the Temple of Set?
The Army has known about my religion for the entire span of my Army career, which began in 1968. The Army has paid very little attention to it, the same as it would to anybody who was, say, a follower of Hinduism or of Buddhism or any other slightly unusual religion today.
He was occupied a position at the Presidio, which was a training facility for the U.S. government, and it was uncovered that he was running a pedophile ring. I think 50 kids came out and fingered him as the guy that had done sexual acts on them as children. It went to trial. He walked from the trial successfully because he had a good attorney, despite the fact that there were multiple witnesses that said Aquino, through satanic rituals, had abused them as children. There's no question that he's a practicing Satanist. Just watch any one of his interviews.
On this altar is one of a number of daggers, which we may use in our rituals. This one happened to belong to the commanding general of the most elite unit of Germany's infamous SS, which was concerned with black magic and occultism research in general. Anything that it could find that had to do with the origins of the human race, destiny of humanity.
The perverted view of the occult held by Heinrich Himmler was of an evil magic that could help create a new master race. Wewelsburg Castle is where he performed his ceremonies.
I have been to the Wewelsburg, which still preserves Heinrich Himmler's ritual chambers to this day, and have conducted a black magical ritual in the so-called Hall of the Dead beneath the Wewelsburg. This particular dagger is inscribed to our comrade in the Leibstandarte Theodor Wisch, Brigadeführer, a major general in the Waffen-SS. And on its blade, it bears the inscription, Mein Ehre heißt Treu, or my honor shall be known by my faithfulness.
Aquino's thesis stated that enemy populations could be subdued by inflicting a state of psychological terror and feelings of imminent destruction. He discusses the use of psychotronic weapons and electromagnetic weapons that influence the mind. By extremely low-frequency signals, piggybacked on broadcasts of radio, TV, or microwave communications in order to influence and manipulate the thoughts and feelings of the target population. These ongoing MKUltra operations are functioning as a counterinsurgency and infiltration operation aimed at destabilizing the United States and other industrialized nations.
I give the CIA a total credit for sponsoring and initiating the entire consciousness movement, counterculture events of the 1960s.
History will judge the role of the CIA and other intelligence agencies in unwittingly contributing to the counterculture of the 60s through their intense interest in LSD and other hallucinogenics. But for the moment at least, the argument can be made that the CIA helped usher in the age of Aquarius.
Laurel Canyon was the epitome of the summer of love. I mean, we saw the possibility of the way we could live.
It's odd because in Laurel Canyon, so many of the soon-to-be stars there, their parents were in either the military-industrial complex or intelligence or the Pentagon. In Frank Zappa's case, his dad was working at Edgewood Arsenal, where they were doing biochem studies, psychotropic, and exposing U.S. troops to VX nerve gas and other things. The family kept gas masks in their house. He grew up with that in case there was an accident. And Edgewood Arsenal was doing this very similar, related MKUltra projects on U.S. troops. The Gulf of Tonkin is another prime example. The commander of the Gulf Fleet in the Gulf of Tonkin, his son was Jim Morrison. They claimed the USS Maddox was attacked by Vietnamese vessels. It was never attacked. As a matter of fact, they put ghost ships on the radar to make it look like they were Vietnamese ships. The Maddox was never attacked. It was an actual, literal false flag to enable the U.S. to declare war on Vietnam. So Jim Morrison's dad was involved in the false flag of the Gulf of Tonkin.
After talking to Kevin, I started looking into Laurel Canyon. I drove down Laurel Canyon to Hollywood almost daily when I first moved out there. And I never knew that there was an old Air Force base called Lookout Mountain U.S. Air Force Base at the top of Laurel Canyon. And what's funny is, if you do the history of it, it's owned today by a guy named Jared Leto.
Another tactic developed out of the MK Ultra project was the use of compromise and control via honeypots.
The decision was made to do testing on unwitting victims. It was decided they should be on the fringes of society because they were most vulnerable.
We did quite a study of prostitutes and their behavior. How do you take a woman who is willing to use her body to get money out of a guy to get him to talk about things which are much more important, like state secrets? We learned a lot about human nature in the bedroom. We started to pick up knowledge that could be used in operations.
There would be victims in all of this. As one agency memo says, we have no answer to the moral question.
That's one of the CIA's favorite tactic, are honeypots. And I work with CIA psychologists, and they're dirty.
I always felt that every house should have its own secret panel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. You lift this up.
Mm-hmm. This is a trap door. Opens up and looks into the cave, or what time is called the Wu Grotto.
Oh, boy.
They're running blackmail operations where they're getting very well-known government and private industry elite people in compromising positions at the Playboy Mansion, on Epstein's plane, on Orgy Island, and they're photographing them. And after that, it's like Congressman so-and-so or CEO so-and-so. I wouldn't bring that up if I was you, because we got photographs of you with a 14-year-old girl on Epstein's plane, for example. And you talk about shutting somebody up permanently, that's how they do it.
What happens in the grotto stays in the grotto.
Okay.
Look, it's pretty simple if you think about it. To control the population, you have to control the people messaging the population. Some of these stars have 20, 30 million followers. That's more followers than CNN, Fox, ABC, NBC. These people have to be controlled. They can't just go off a message and start saying whatever they want to say. They have to be somewhat reined in. They have to be controlled, or they do not get the platform to have the voice that they have.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all. Man, you know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
If you stop for a second and you just look at the bigger picture and you check out for a minute and you kind of compare the ancient times to today, well, back then they had like what, demigods and gods. They were like Achilles, Hercules, Apollo, Mercury. All these were demigods. And that's who the people in those days looked up to. Well, today we have all these people like Jay-Z, Rihanna, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. In film, we have Brad Pitt, Will Smith. We have all these big stars. And the way they prop them up and they put them up on stage is like they're gods or demigods.
In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, people from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
Most people don't want to cross the psychological line that this stuff is going on. And we all have a mental defense mechanism. It's like finally admitting there's an elite pedophile ring. I mean, most people just don't want to go there. And the same is here. Psychologically, you lose your safety, your security, and whatever innocence you have when you realize that this stuff is really going on. And it's a chore to cross over that barrier and realize, oh my gosh, this stuff is really happening. And that's why it takes critical thinking. The people have got to look at this stuff critically and see what they're being fed so they can cross that psychological line that they just refuse to see it when it's right in front of them.
When Kevin said there's an elite pedophile ring, well, I'm thinking to myself, this is a hard thing for me to come to terms with. Now, it made me start thinking about conversations and things I'd heard, but I'd never saw it. It's not out in the open. And to me, I was like, no one could do that. Because, I mean, if I saw someone hurting a kid, I would kill them. I mean, I would literally kill them. I would never allow someone to hurt a child in front of me. Things Kevin was saying were things that were hard for me to cross the barrier. I did not want to believe it. I didn't want to go there. But as I went down this journey, I forced myself to go consider, what if this is real? And the only person that was talking about this stuff was a girl named Liz Crokin. And the media had declared her completely out of her mind. But as I started researching some of the things she was reporting on, I was like, there's truth to what she's saying. So I want to talk to her.
I started working in journalism at a very young age. I got my first job working for Fox Chicago at about the age of 17 years old. At the University of Iowa, I studied political science and journalism. One semester, I interned for Bill O'Reilly at Fox News Channel. My last year in college, I interned for the State Department's White House reporter, and that placed me reporting in the White House every single day for a few months. I went on to work for the Chicago Tribune, and my first boss there told me that everything that I should get should be checked over and over and over again and verified to death. That's how I was trained, and that's what a true, honest journalist does. I started covering local politics and local hard news, and then eventually I got my own column for 7 years where I interviewed tons of celebrities and politicians and musicians, and worked at Us Weekly, and then at one point I worked at In Touch Weekly magazine. But then in 2015, I felt the need to get back into covering hard news, and in early 2016 I started working for Town Hall, and then eventually I started working for the New York Observer and broke a lot of election-related stories. I worked in media for over 2 decades, and I never had any issues. I was very well respected. I basically was embraced by the mainstream media until I started reporting on Pizzagate. Now, when Pizzagate came out, the media tried to turn Pizzagate into something that wasn't.
Surprises of the presidential campaign was the explosion of fake news on the internet.
28-year-old Edgar Welch was arrested in Washington Sunday afternoon outside Comet Ping Pong, a popular family pizza parlor. D.C. police say Welch fired at least 1 round into the restaurant floor with an AR-15 rifle like this one on his Facebook page. No one was injured.
Someone on Twitter, whose name remains unverified but has several thousand followers,
posted that new emails found on Anthony Weiner's computer confirmed that Hillary Clinton was involved in a pedophilia ring. The rumor spread, inspiring some newfound internet sleuths to start digging around in John Podesta's hacked emails, searching for proof and location of the so-called sex ring.
In those emails, they are absolutely littered with code words. And many of these code words are food words, such as pizza.
Somebody said to me, "Hey, Dave, search for pizza in Podesta's emails. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you never really emerge the same person."
It was obvious from the get-go that these words were code words for something else because the context that they were used in did not make sense.
To be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles.
There is some kind of code language. They're just not talking about pizza, folks. Who phrases that? Who blocks out an hour of time to eat a slice of pizza?
You can get a service for a half an hour, you can get a massage for a half an hour, but you can't get food for a half an hour. It just absolutely makes no sense.
There's other ones like, the realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. And another one is, Obama spent $65,000 flying in pizza and hot dogs from Chicago. Are we using the same channels?
Pizza is a well-known pedophile code word that actually has been used by law enforcement to arrest online sexual predators of children. And there's been multiple arrests that have been made by law enforcement of pedophiles trying to solicit children by using the pedophile code word pizza.
2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI, contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago.
People don't know that because the mainstream media refuses to cover it.
The entire mainstream media redefined what Pizzagate was to make it sound ridiculous and less believable. And then they had people like Megyn Kelly come in, interview James Alefantis, didn't ask him any challenging questions.
A conspiracy theory that even the DC police say has no basis in fact.
She didn't ask him any questions about the pictures of children on his Instagram page looking abused, being sexualized. She didn't ask him about the pedophile talk. So the whole mainstream media painted him as this poor victim, as this person that was innocent, that was just victimized, as something that wasn't true. But just his Instagram page alone should have been enough for authorities to look into him.
Investigators have already proven there's nothing to the story, right? Well, actually, no. And that's what you need to know. For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place?
This is insane.
So many people in the mainstream media have said, Pizzagate is a conspiracy theory. Pizzagate has been debunked. It has not been debunked. If it's been debunked, explain the code words. No one to this day, including John Podesta himself, can explain the code words in his emails.
Hey, John Podesta, can you please explain why you have children rented for entertainment for your adult hot tub parties? No one has ever explained why John Podesta has literal pedophile and cannibalism paintings all over his office and his home. Tony Podesta too. And then you look into the spirit cooking dinners, and you look into Marina Abramovic, who's the one that was conducting the spirit cooking dinners. Why are they going to spirit cooking dinners? Why are they sacrificing chickens to Moloch in their backyard? This isn't my words, this is their words. This is in their emails.
I'd be willing to debate anyone who thinks that Pizzagate has been debunked.
You asked me when how am I getting additional briefings? That was the first and last time I talked.
So October 9th is the last time you have heard from the FBI at all?
Yes.
You have not got an update on the investigation to your personal email?
That is correct.
So not only did the mainstream media lie to you about Pizzagate, they actually told you that it was illegal to read John Podesta's emails on WikiLeaks. Chris Cuomo, with a straight face on CNN, looked into the cameras and said, it's illegal for you to read John Podesta's emails.
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us.
That's how scared they are of those emails. And that's how explosive the content in those emails are. That they felt the need that they had to tell you, you could not read those emails, and if you do, you might get arrested. Lie.
It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us.
People that blow the whistle on elite pedophiles tend to have accidents. And a lot of those people have died mysteriously.
NBC News has learned that disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Epstein took his own life while he was behind bars.
There's absolutely no excuse for this. What happened here, to me, is mind-boggling. The guy was a high-risk prisoner, wasn't he? I mean, he's a guy that there are probably 50 very important people that have a motive to kill him. We don't even know who they are. It's true. But we know there are some people that are in a lot of trouble because of Epstein. They know who they are.
His flight logs contain names of some of the biggest, most famous, and most powerful people on the planet. Members of the royal family, Prince Andrew, models like Naomi Campbell, famous actors like Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton on those flight logs over 25 times. Hillary Clinton, she's also been to the islands. So the bigger question is, how many people that went on his private jet, that went to his private island, that went to his massive ranch in New Mexico were also involved in the rape, torture, and trafficking of children?
It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him.
And the amazing thing about Cindy McCain is that her husband was a senator. She was on a board with the governor of Texas. She knew about Jeffrey Epstein. She did nothing. And her organization, the role of her organization is supposed to be to stop people like Jeffrey Epstein. They all knew. They did nothing about it. When Ricky Gervais said at the Golden Globes, you're all friends with Jeffrey Epstein, he wasn't lying.
So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You like to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Right, but...
And how many of those elites have been to his islands? Not only is the mainstream media complicit, I would argue that there are accessories in the crimes against children.
She told me everything. She had pictures, she had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed, because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying, there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Then what happened in early 2018? Keith Raniere, who ran the NXIVM child sex trafficking cult, was arrested. Who else was arrested? Allison Mack, she's a famous celebrity who was on Smallville. She was also arrested for being a member of this cult that was involved in trafficking children. And not only trafficking children, they were running preschools down in Mexico. And NXIVM is another example of how these elite pedophile rings exist, because this was a massive organization. This was funded by really wealthy people, including the Seagram heiresses, Nancy Salzman and Claire Bronfman. So obviously they were using those preschools to traffic children. And the cult also engaged in human torture experiments on some of their members. And there actually was a civil lawsuit that was filed by 90 of their victims just the other day. So I imagine we are going to hear more about the human experiments, the torturing, the sexual abuse, and the child sex trafficking in this civil lawsuit. And a lot of the techniques that we see in this cult are very similar to the techniques that our government used in the MK Ultra program.
You guys are branding women with Keith's initials, and they were like, well, what's the bad thing exactly about that? Everyone in the outside world, aka the real world, is like, they're branding women? So I left, I went to the executive board and I said, I want my photos back, I want my videos back, the branding session was filmed, I want all of that back, I want my collateral back. None of that happened.
And it's the same fear, mind control, and you'll be destroyed if you get into the upper elites. And if you get to that point, if you start revealing anything, they have the same system to completely destroy you, destroy your career, blackmail you like Epstein, catch you, film you in compromising positions. And this goes both within Hollywood and celebrities and some of the elite, and it also goes on in Congress and the Senate. And if they even insinuate that they're going to reveal some of these things, they're done.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why? Because y'all been lied to. Google lied to you. Google. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you.
The powerful people that be, whether it's the music industry or the movie industry, you are only allowed a certain level of success if you are willing to join their club, if you're willing to be part of their secret society, or if you're compromised. They will not let someone obtain a lot of fame and power if they can't control you.
A classic example, at least for me, is Katy Perry. Katy Perry was a gospel singer, very talented, but she was going nowhere. And she got up to Hollywood and basically they said, you want to be a success? You play by our rules. You step into the occult and you start putting that in your videos. And now she's doing videos with her in hell with satanic themes, and she's what? Highly successful. You see that over with Lady Gaga, who came out and actually said she was so tired of being handled and manipulated, she had to take a break.
That this is this young, outrageous girl, wears strange clothes. She's into extremes. She's experimental. She have 43 million people on the Twitter following her, whatever she do, little monsters. And she came really very humble to my house and asked me if I can teach her. We made this workshop in the woods, and she was such a good student. She never cheated. She really went much farther than I asked her for.
She is a limitless human being. As myself, a self-proclaimed pop performance artist, want to go home and slit my wrists, and I am nothing. I have achieved no sense of art. She is so boundless.
Čuli za performance zbog Lady Gaga, odjednom su počeli da se interesuju za moj rad, tako da je prešla sam iz te, mislim, normalne kulture u mas kulturu, što je...
Marina Abramovic, of course, is in the Podesta emails, and she's the one that conducts the spirit cooking dinners. She said that Marina did an exercise with her where she stripped her completely naked and left her in the middle of the woods to fend for herself and find her way back. Those are the kinds of things that people who are behind the MK Ultra programs do to children that they're mind controlling. We know Marina Abramovic is a Satanist. You Google Marina Abramovic's name in Spirit Cooking and you will find hundreds of pictures of Marina Abramovic's events where they will have, for example, a cake that looks like a human being and they'll depict human cannibalism. And they claim they're not engaging in cannibalism. And you will find A-list actors and famous politicians and other very famous and successful, powerful business people at her events. They literally have food that look like human beings on dinner tables.
He's Italian and Greek, I mean, you know.
And a very good cook.
And a very good cook. And I'm sure there's something very nefarious about that risotto recipe. So,
after I started researching the cult, I learned that Satanists believe that they have to reveal who they are in some way, shape, or form. So that is why we see a lot of these occult members in Hollywood constantly flaunting symbolism. We see the pyramid, the Illuminati pyramid a lot. We see the evil one eye constantly. It's always on the cover of magazines. We see these are supposed to be the 666 devil symbols. We constantly see those symbols. We also see pedophile symbols, the swirl or the triangle within a triangle.
I guarantee this wasn't his purse.
And we also see a lot of these members of the cult go on their social media and they talk about raping children. They talk about worshiping Satan. And people write it off as a joke. But they're not joking. I don't care if you're a major comedian. You can't tell me that's funny because there is no joke about raping children that's funny.
You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is.
Takes guts to put out a film that does this because no one's done it up until now. But when that's done and people see these facts and they say, my gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the Gulf of Tonkin. I didn't know that about the Vietnam War. My gosh. And they go in, they check it out, and it's all true. And now they're seeing the dots. A good film will teach them how to practice critical thinking, to analyze what you're watching. If we can get people to analyze what they're watching, we've crossed a huge hurdle. Because once they start analyzing it, they're going to see the dots, and typically the dots will connect themselves.
Liz Crokin put herself so far out in front that she was mocked. She was laughed at. She was called crazy. Well, let me ask you a question. For all those people that did that to Liz, does she seem so crazy now?
When you put all of those facts together and you use critical thinking, you realize this stuff is real. There's not one smoking gun. There's many small smoking guns that you have to piece together, and you have to use critical thinking to understand this stuff is real. So again, the bigger question is, now that Jeffrey Epstein's been exposed and he's allegedly dead, how many of his friends that were frequent visitors on his sex trafficking island were also involved in the rape, torture, and trafficking of children? And that's what Pizzagate is.
I guess what I'm asking you all to do is just disconnect for a second, stand back, look at the lyrics of your songs, look at the agendas of the movies, look at the messages of the media that you're absorbing. Because it's impossible to say that all of it's bad, like all of Hollywood's bad. That's not true. Like, it's like saying all of the CIA is bad. There's a lot of good people that work in both industries that aren't bad people. But if the people that control the narratives and the agendas are not good people, and they have different agendas, they can put that on you and you won't even notice it unless you stand back and look at things objectively.
I can't compromise anymore.
That for me, that's not what life's about. I want to send a good message to my kids, and I want them to know that at the end of the day, their dad did what was right, and their dad fought for the good things in life. If I could ever get the opportunity to make movies that send out good messages, and then people start realizing that they can be good, and that they can jump on the bandwagon of good, that's the next phase. People start believing it. It's the same thing with desensitizing with the violence. People start believing that it's okay to kill somebody, or watching somebody die isn't a big deal. When people aren't helping other people in need on the streets, there's a problem in this world. But this could all be changed right now. The reason why I'm doing this documentary is because I want to be one of the first people to come out and say, hey, it doesn't have to be like this. We are good people. Humans are good, and we can make the world a better place. Because the money and the technology to make this world a better place is there. It's just been covered up and controlled for so long that it's time for it all to come out. And maybe I'm the catalyst for something better.
What does the media look like in the future? Well, to me, what I would hope is that it's not filtered. I would love to build a platform or build some sort of system where artists could connect directly to their audience. I want to make products and tell stories that bring humanity together, that bring compassion, that bring love, that bring forgiveness, that bring inspiration and courage back to the audience without having the influence of violence or gratuitous sex or gratuitous death or gratuitous horror. Because those are things and images that get stored in our psyche and our soul, and I don't think that's the way that this earth was intended to be.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, man,
Wow.
gentlemen, what
Wow.
an epic premiere you just witnessed. Wow is right.
Wow. Let me just stop the share here, guys. I'm going to get you back on screen. I like that quote at the end, Mike. Thank you, brother. I love you so much. I really quick just want to take 1 second and just, I've, known you guys for a long time. I've been on the phone with Mike, and Brad. I'm new to Brad, I'm a big fan, Brad, big time. And your sentiment at the end there was just absolutely incredible. I wasn't crying. I promise. You were crying. I wasn't crying. It wasn't me. But I
wasn't either. What are you saying?
I don't know what you're talking about. So there's Brad right there, guys, on the screen. But I want to tell you guys that I know that you put your heart and soul, and Mike put his heart and soul into this. You all did. And, I know that it took about, 9-10 months for Mike and the editor to put this thing together into a phase that it would actually look amazing. And, Mike seems to be the director. And I got to tell you, Mike, the directing and the producing of this film and the talent that you had, I don't think you could have done a better job, friend.
Amazing team you assembled.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hats off for Mike.
Yeah, hats off for Mike.
17 in the chat for Mike. Give it to him.
Let's see Mike some 17s.
Talk about a warrior leader, Mike Smith. Crux out here on YouTube.
Yep.
If you don't know.
Yeah, and the Mike, the mods will drop his link again. But out of shadows.org. I keep saying the, and I know people accidentally put the out. Look at those 17s, Mike. You should see them all just flying through the screen. Outofshadows.org is where you want to go. Let me go to my screen capture here real quick so I can show you where I'm at. I want you guys all to make sure you bookmark this website. It's absolutely.
Just drop the link to them too.
You dropped the link too? Yeah.
Just now, yeah. So you guys can see right there amongst the 17s.
Okay, let me see if I have the right window cap here. There it is. I just have it a little. Let me just go ahead and make it so you guys can see it here real quick. This is it right here. It's outofshadows.org. The site is very well done. In case this documentary ever goes off any of the social media sites that they have it on, it will be here because Mike, I believe, invested in the unlimited bandwidth, correct?
I did. I figured at some point maybe YouTube or Vimeo would take it down. So I bought it'll be uploaded to that website directly if that ever happens. So
Okay. Excellent.
I look,
Mike, wow.
I don't even know. It took so long to frame this and to tell the story the way we told it. I mean, I spent 9 months with my editor sitting in the room, and I couldn't have done this without Liz and Brad and Kevin, but to tell the story in a way, and I didn't want to take a credit. That's why there were no credits listed on this documentary, because where we go one, we go all.
100%.
And I'm not trying to glorify myself. I want to. I don't know how to say this.
Well, what I was doing, Mike, is just I've talked to you on the phone quite a bit. I've heard, some, you're getting this stuff done. Just all the awesome stuff and I know the work that you put into it. You've called me for a couple things too, and I appreciate that.
Guys, listen, man, this has been a team effort.
I know how hard you worked on it.
There's been a lot of amalgamations of this project because it's easy to go too far, and I didn't want to make it political, and I didn't want to make it
this is
gory
perfect.
or over in depth or expose people or call people out.
Right. I could have easily done all those things.
Right.
But that's not what this is about. This is about just getting people to have a discussion about some facts that they're not aware of, start a conversation.
Yeah.
Now, if people actually like this documentary and people actually like what we're doing, I could do 2 or 3 more because I've already edited together a lot of research on a lot of these people, and I could have easily put it in there.
Maybe that'll be part 2.
But but see, here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to be well received. If it is well received, cool. I would love to do some more.
I think you already know. I'm reading all the reviews here, and people seem to...
How are we looking, Liz?
Yeah, Liz.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Liz. You did great. What are the reviews looking like?
I'm reading all the comments. You guys, thank you so much for your feedback. They're amazing. Mike, you are a warrior. You did such a good job with this. None of us would be here right now if it wasn't for you.
Right.
This is your moment. You did great.
I want to give all this glory to God because, seriously, I would have never done this had I had been touched by Jesus and God. But I know this. I know one thing. I want people, when you actually learn what you believe to be the truth and you don't do anything about it, then you're going to have to answer for that. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, I believe what I believe, and I've been called to do something, and I just want to get the word out. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor, trust me. But I am somebody who is a definite believer in Christ. And I know Brad and Liz are, and I know Kevin Shipp is, and this is a battle. And if we're going to have a fight in this battle, let's re-engage. And the cool thing is, and I know Brad's a martial artist, and I've been in martial arts my whole life. It's like, I didn't really like being the Christian that always had to submit to okay, I forgive you. Because there's a lot of times in the Bible when people are doing bad things and God takes retribution on them. I'm down for that. I want to see justice. I want to see these evil people and these bad people get served the justice that's due to them. And I know Liz is that way. And that's not about being physically violent. That's not what I'm promoting.
There's a very interesting thing that you bring up here. What people don't realize, true freedom is do no harm to others, right?
Yeah.
But if you harm me, guess what? I get to kick your ass. And that's really the long and the short of it.
I can tell you right now, Brad and I would welcome some of that.
Right.
But here's the deal. It's not my job to administer that justice. It's going to be Jesus, God, and the justice system.
Right.
And the only way we can fight back is through voting and through love and compassion, and let God and the retribution of the law, if there is justice under the law, which I know Q and I know POTUS and I know these things are coming.
Yeah.
And I put my faith in what's coming. And I know that there's a many patriots all across this world. And I'm talking world. I'm not saying America. I'm saying world.
Worldwide.
That are all looking for truth and justice and freedom and for the dark to be exposed to the light. And that's what we all stand for.
God will judge our enemies. We'll arrange the meeting.
Five.
I love it.
So I'm not promoting violence.
No.
I'm not promoting. Look, I'm just promoting.
There's a difference between violence and protecting yourself, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Do no harm to others is our creed.
Right, but if you hurt a child,
boy.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quote the Bible because I'll definitely mess it up. But it's better not to be born than to do that, because
Absolutely.
They will be drowned.
And the children that these people have hurt.
That's right. And I hope and pray, and I know those days are coming, and these children, like, look, this is about the children of this world, and this is about dark to light.
Yeah.
And what these dark people do, they will be exposed. And if I need to do a second video or a third video or a fourth video, Liz, Mike, Brad, Kevin, we can all go deeper. But what this video is about was just saying, hey, please wake up and listen. We can take you there.
Shady and Matrix might be able to help out too on that one.
I would love to. Dude, Shady is he blows my mind sometimes. And Matrix, I know
Same.
how awesome.
Thanks, Mike. That's special.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. And Shady blows my mind too, bro.
I love you so much. And there's one other guy I wanted to say something to. There's son Q Sue.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He's an anonymous patriot who I know personally, or I know through this movement. And he is a guy who is awesome, and he fights for children. And if look, there's a lot of guys like him out there that are fighting for the truth, and there's a lot of people that are anonymous because it's scary to stand up. And here's my thing, and I just want to say this one last thing tonight. If we, Brad, myself, Liz, any of us, can inspire just one person in Hollywood, maybe two, maybe three, stand up and just say, hey, look, I accept all the things you asked me to accept while we work in Hollywood, but please accept where we stand. Just please accept that I may not be okay. I'm a conservative. I love Trump. I love Christ. Why is that a bad thing? And why can't I work in your world if I honor those values?
And why do I have to be so silenced and feel so ridiculed every day when I'm at work and have everybody look at me like I'm a fucking idiot? I can't stand it.
Right?
And the FI thing, but Brad is right. I mean, dude, seriously, I'm going to say one thing. Do you know why I knew Trump was going to win in 2016? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Nobody was believing me, and I was predicting this. I was doing a movie in Wales in 2015. I'm not going to say what it was. I was working over there, and people were like, oh my God, this crazy guy Trump's running for president. I'm like, he's going to win. And they're like, how is Trump going to win? He's blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm on the other side of this deal. All the Teamsters all the crew members, all the people that I know below the line, which are thousands of people, were like, hey, I know we're supposed to vote for the other side, but we're all supporting Trump. And I was like, he's going to win, because secretly there are millions of people that don't say anything about Mr. Trump. That
there are.
I knew when this all went down, I was like, ha, 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 ha. And I went to bed the night of the election, and all the numbers were all skewed, and I was like, yeah, it's cool. God's got this. Trump's gonna win. And if Hillary, well, I should say, if the other side wins, okay. I don't think that's your will, but if that's cool, I'll accept it. But guess who was president? The man, Donald J. Trump. 4-10-20.
4-10-20.
Yeah.
There you go.
4-10-20 today.
We
It
dropped
it. You guys did it, man.
And I hope that it's some help to him in some way. And God bless Mr. Trump and his family for taking all the crap that he has to take for all of us. And maybe one day, Brad, Mike, me, and Kevin, or me, Liz, and Kevin, sorry. I would love to just shake his hand, give him a hug, and tell him how much I love him and thank him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
Amen.
I tell you, man, I got the opportunity to go to the Phoenix rally, and there is nothing like it. There is literally nothing I've ever experienced. I went to movie, music stuff, and it is just like there's a level of patriotism there that is off the charts. I mean, man, and to see him be that close to him, the energy, oh man, it is
absolutely. And the last thing I'll say is, if President Trump needs any assistance in the entertainment industry, Brad, myself,
are ready.
Could actually help him rebuild this thing.
And we're actually looking for a job. So
yeah, hey,
Otis.
Hey, we're kind of done in Hollywood, so
Yeah, we'll help too somehow. I lost my Cisco systems career. I was a very successful Cisco salesperson.
You told me all that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: being a Patriot's not easy. Being a Patriot's not popular. Being a leader is always lonely. So if you want to lead and you want to, step out and help, don't be shy. Be brave. Be bold. Step up. Motivate others. And hopefully, if enough people step up and make that move, it'll all change.
So,
but here's the thing, you guys, when I came out in 2016 exposing Pizzagate, I was naive in the sense that it didn't occur to me that I would be facing such a horrible hidden enemy and I would be dealing with so much backlash. And because I exposed Pizzagate, I lost my career. I was censored. I was blacklisted by the media. I was fired from jobs. I mean, I had all kinds of horrible, crazy things happen to me. With that being said, things have come full circle for me. I went from losing thousands and thousands of supporters and friends on social media, starting back from 2016 for standing up for Trump and for standing up for the truth, to having those numbers come back 100-fold. Now I have an army of patriots that are supporting me, and I'm getting my career back on track, and God's rewarding me for.
We're going to produce some awesome shows with you, Liz.
Exactly. And so you guys have taken a huge risk by doing this, by coming out of the shadows and sacrificing your careers in Hollywood to do this. But I know that God's going to reward you. And you guys today is a day where your new careers have started. And we'll figure out a way where you guys will have better careers than you could ever even dream of in Hollywood, because you guys are so talented. You stood for the truth, and God will provide. And it took me a very long time to get here. I had to go through a lot of really horrible things.
You had to go through the fire.
I had to go through the fire. I lost my career. I lost money. I mean,
You lost your fingers?
I lost my fingers. I was on disability. I was on all the kinds of financial aid. And I mean, I had no money for years. I couldn't even pay my bills. It was awful. But with that being said, you know, it was worth it, because guess what? I can sleep at night and I can look myself in the mirror because I know that I did the right thing and I stood with God. And you can't put a dollar amount on that.
No, you can't.
And I'll say this. We put this whole thing out for free. We did this whole thing because it was the right thing to do. And I'll tell you, I just want people to know the truth, as Brad does, as Liz does, and God will reward us in other ways. We'll build the new system. We'll build the new world. We're going to help as many people as we can. And that's our mission. And Brad and I have talked about this many times, as Liz has. Liz is such a truth seeker, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes that aren't on this camera that need credit, but because of their positions and their life that they need to still maintain, can't come forward. I just want to thank our team that has been behind our scenes, because this wouldn't look like it looks if I didn't have the team that we've assembled behind the scenes.
Absolutely, yeah. Great job, the editor,
I
everybody.
can edit this on my Adobe Premiere the way this looks.
Looks great. Looks amazing. By the way, just so you guys know, we've got outofshadows.org. Let me go over there for you real quick. I want you to check it out. We got $50 today in donations, and I just from the Matrix Groove Hour, we just put $50. We hit this little donate button here on outofshadows.org.
You have to do that, but thank you.
Yeah, we just got $50 in PayPal tonight. So Fred, and I can't remember who the other one was, but you guys just basically, I want you to go to outofshadows.org, and if you can give them $1 or whatever you can, $17.
It doesn't matter.
Well, and I know you don't want to ask, and you shouldn't have to. We just watched an amazing movie. How much would this movie cost you and your family to go see? And you guys can watch it over and over and over. And please share it with your friends, guys.
Honestly, I just want you to share it with everybody. I mean, tweet it, retweet it, share it.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah, whatever.
Instagram, Vimeo. You got it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would like to just say to the three of you right now, I can already tell by the response that we've gotten here what an epic job that you did, and there is plenty of people out there want to see more of your content, because it's obviously the way you've been able to put it together and the way you use your real life experiences to tell a story for between Matt and Mike and Liz, the three of you, and interweave it like that. I understand it's not easy, but you put it together and made the connection not only to your spiritual world and your spiritual journey, but to the real world and how it's affecting all of us. We are walking through a land of zombies whenever we go out into the world, because most people do not understand what it is that we see.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Chase. Thank you so much, because Brad and Liz, and I'm not going to name all the other people behind the scenes, we've been we're actually prepared to do like 3 or 4 more documentaries.
Absolutely.
Because we've dug into this, and we didn't name names. We didn't go into whatever, because we were just trying to wake people up.
Yeah.
But if they actually like this project and they want to, see more, we could do that, and it wouldn't be that hard. But we were like, look, hey, let's just put this out. Let's tell the truth that we feel, to try to wake our friends and family up. And if they love it, we can go a little deeper. I mean, honestly, we could have done, Brad, you know this. We could have done a documentary on Paperclip. We could have done a documentary on Mockingbird, Laurel Canyon, Disney. We could have done documentaries on every topic and gone really deep.
Everybody here is saying yes, more please. Yes, more please. Yes, more please.
Yes, the order is more.
Yep. So you better be careful. By the way,
how about let's
but it's gotta be like, hey, look, I guess if people actually really like this stuff, I know that Brad and we're kind of done.
Well, hold on.
No,
but the one thing I wanted to say was I'll just get a consensus out there because I think there's a market for some badass conservative action movies. I've got an idea for a few of them if people are interested in those fictional movies.
I want to be in one.
Yeah, Brad, you're going to be in the Matrix, and Mike is going to be shady, and we're going to do this kick-ass entry into a kick-ass auditorium, bro.
Mike,
I love it.
I'll be that. What's that guy in the X-Men that's in the fucking wheelchair that sucks? What's that?
I think I'm more like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, man.
Brad, what's the guy with the helmet and the
Magneto?
Yeah, I'll be that one. I can't do anything.
But yeah, Brad, I want you to be me and make a kick-ass entrance. I would love that.
Brad will come in and do like a double gainer and do a fucking granny into a table.
It was funny. Our mod pseudonym was like, "Oh, I'm fangirling over here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll go ahead and text them." And she wanted to know.
She's fangirling over Brad.
Yeah.
Or Mike.
She wanted to know who he was in Mortal Kombat. And I don't know if you want me to say. If it's okay, you can say it, Brad.
No, say it, Brad.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I doubled Johnny Cage. I did the
splits and hit that dude in the nuts.
Yeah.
So that's for you, pseudonym.
Wait, can I tell you guys a funny story?
Yeah.
I've been back and forth, flying to film this stuff, and I stayed with Brad and his beautiful wife, Ashley. And it's so funny when I stayed with them, Brad, what was that video game that we were playing that was like virtual? Like
we were playing PlayStation VR Beat Saber.
Oh my God. So, like I'm staying at their house, and like I sometimes forget that Brad and Mike are these action heroes and they're these stunt guys that did all these crazy stunts. So I'm just like chilling at their house, having a glass of wine. We're playing this like action video game. And Brad, all of a sudden, he's like doing flips and like doing the splits. And I'm like what is
happening over here?
Like, you guys are such badasses in like, every sense of the word.
Looks like we got a bunch of people here that did donate. I can't see. I think Mike Pack just did about $25 to you guys. Somebody said done. So you've got.
I just tell everybody if they do, it's not necessary.
No, we know that. We all know that here on the Matrix Groove Hour, my friend.
Okay.
We know that.
Just so you guys know, Mike put a lot of money into this, like a lot.
Yes.
But
more than most people make in a year, for sure.
No, he did. It was a six-figure dollar amount, and and he didn't. He said, "You know what, Liz? If I don't get one penny back, that's okay, as long as it wakes people up." But what we want to do is we want to be able to put out more documentaries and more product for you guys to expose the truth. And obviously that costs money. And
Wendy just did $100, guys.
Yeah. So,
you're gonna make me cry. Like seriously. Like,
that's what we're trying to do.
Tough Tessie did that.
Well, I already cried like earlier tonight because
Brad wants to film it. He's gonna film it.
To Crux and I did it.
But you got to understand, Mike, we know what it's like. Donations are a freedom, Mike. If somebody wants to, like, I grew up in a Norwegian family. If somebody said, "Hey, you want to eat this?" you don't turn it down. Or "Hey, come and have coffee with us," you don't turn it down. Yeah, you got to do it.
Here's the problem I have with this whole donation thing. All these shills and all these people are like, "Oh, they're trying to make money."
Oh, you're a PAY trade. Oh, dude, I've gone through this already.
Yeah. That is not what Brad and Liz.
Mike, I'm Donald J. Trump. I'm your president, right? And you're going to be on the show with me, okay? And this is go ahead and pitch me. Yeah, pitch me your movie deal, and we're on The Apprentice. So pitch me your movie deal. I want to do this big ass movie with some great people in it. I want to spend a lot of money, and I don't want to make a dollar. What do you think Donald Trump would say to you right now?
Fired.
Yeah. So you're fired. I love you. So I know you're being humble, my
wait,
friend, and I know this is not what it's about, but we live in this system.
Yeah,
and
my
we
point-
want more. I want more.
Well, here's the thing. I believe that Christ and God. Well, I mean, I know I keep saying that, but I believe that
And don't stop.
God told me to build something for the Christians, and start with the Christians, and that's why Brad and Liz and myself and Kevin and you guys, look, we're on the side of good, and there are a lot more people on the good side than the bad side. It's just we don't know that yet.
Bring it,
And-
Chills.
It's the concentration. It's the concentration on media, but I think you put it very well where you said, that's not like an on the fence subject. It isn't. It really is not. And I think that that's one of the wonderful things about Q. And I've noticed that we have maybe some people out there on the channel that aren't familiar with the channel, or maybe even some people I saw that might not quite understand Q. But the big overarching theme of what Q is trying to teach us is that there is a silent battle that is good versus evil that has been hidden from the world, and that everyone has been slowly and methodically through incrementalism put to sleep. And now there is a force to be reckoned with here to wake everyone up and show you what's really been going on, so that you can get loud and so that we can continue the fruits of our labor in this lifetime, as opposed to dodging the cabal.
You know, it'd be really awesome, and I would love to do like another.
Blessed to Teach is in here too. By the way, Rick from Blessed to Teach, he wants you on his show too. So we'll have to get you over there to Blessed to Teach. Rick, he's been a great supporter. He's got a great show too.
Any of the Patriots like that guy, do any of his stuff. Here's the thing. What I would love to build is a platform that's not cabal controlled, that promotes love. Like I said at the end of the documentary, I think I actually know there's a way to build this thing. And if we could all come together because we, as the population, have a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And if we all band together and see, I mean, I'm not going to, I'm probably going to get slammed here, but I'm going to say this. A lot of the things that I see being promoted in the Christian world are not promoted the way that, how do I say this? They're not, it's too, God, I'm going to probably get shot in the face for this one. But, it doesn't have to be so, it just has to have the narratives and the themes to promote good, love, courage, humanity. And those were things that used to be in movies. They're not there anymore. And nobody's funding those type of movies, really. I mean, there are some. But if there was a platform and a place to put those things, we could build news outlets, podcasts, music, documentaries, feature films, TV shows, and build all that stuff in the future that have narratives that promote love and bringing humanity together and Christ and, all different levels of it. And just to bring people back to being good. And that's what Brad and I were talking about.
Looks like we got another $40 for you here.
It translates. That's one thing. It's one thing to set out on a journey to attempt something, but it's another thing whenever it translates and it comes through. That's when you really know, in my personal life, that's the markers I look for. It's like whenever it all lines up and it makes sense, that's sometimes where we get into this resistant mode, but we're really supposed to push forward because we are manifesting our own realities. And you guys, I don't think you guys are anywhere close to the end. I think that the future is bright, bright, bright. And you're going to find that this is, this is a whole new world that we evolve into. And I think we're going to maybe largely be working together. I mean, it's really great.
You know what I'd love to do, man? I would love to build a place where people could go to find shows like yourself, iPod, in pursuit of, I think all the great truth seekers. I love that. What's it? OAN?
Yep. They've got a TV station.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of great people that have this idea. The problem is where they're hosted, most of those are still owned by the cabal.
Correct.
And until there's one that's not owned by the cabal, it's still filtered.
Absolutely. Even the pipes that go up to it, you know, so you've got, you know, the internet, you've got the load balancers, everything.
Brad's pay grade and Liz. That's why we need Trump, and we need somebody in that world.
It's going to happen.
Hey, man, we can help them.
It's going to happen.
And you know what, you guys, I like my YouTube channel is a testament that people want and they flock to the truth, no matter where it comes from or in what kind of format it comes in, because I do my YouTube channel from my office, and as most people know, I'm great at investigative journalism, but I can't edit. I'm so bad at technology. I don't even have a cool
I got you, Liz.
you guys have. And you know, I would, people are like, oh, why don't you edit in, you know, articles and stuff into your YouTube videos? I don't know how to do that, and I haven't had the means to be able to do that. All I had the means to do was just to sit in a room on YouTube, nothing fancy. I don't have millions of dollars like the cabal does, you know. But
Shady Matrix could help you.
But what I do have is the truth. What I do have is the truth,
Yep.
and that's
sure
why
do.
my YouTube channel has done so well, is because
100%.
people don't
I can tell you something funny. I just looked
Real quick, Mike, SB Patriot, $40. We've got
just gonna tell you,
you hear all those dings on your phone. You know that's your PayPal, brother.
Yeah, but I just actually, it's $17.
Do you have a PayPal, a PO box, or any other way than a PayPal?
Well, it's just that thing on the website says if you want to donate to our team or donate to our next project.
Right there.
Because
Okay.
we're not trying to charge for this one, but we're getting $17.
See that?
Our fans are like that.
We're very numbers driven. You know,
Whatever
we got 17. I challenged for a couple 45s. Let's do some 45s. We got.
Oh, it's so crazy.
We got POTUS.
There actually somebody just did 100. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's not what. But I mean, I know I don't even want to be that guy because that's not.
All right, look, I did something funny. You guys want to see something funny that I just did for you guys? And it's probably gonna. Let's hope it makes the news because it'll be a good one. Let me go to my. Let me share for you guys so you can see what I'm showing everybody. Okay, here we go.
Can you hear all these dings?
Yeah.
I know they're going crazy.
They're dinging you.
Everybody's
But
dinging.
ding
My
fresher than
social
so.
media page guys are going crazy. I'm getting hundreds of comments. Everybody loved the doc. Everyone.
They did. So you see this tweet right here. It's called "Making the Good Pasta." Reading through some amazing parts of the satanic verses, the golden threads begin to intertwine. This is a CEO of a tech company.
Jack, the CEO of Twitter?
Yeah, so I did a tweet that said, please watch this documentary and you will know what the below tweet means. And perhaps you'll know why we're all censored. Outofshadows.org with all you guys tagged there. Get over there, guys, and retweet this tweet, guys. This tweet right here needs to go viral. What do you think of that?
That's sick.
Well,
I'm on my way right now.
Pretty good way to get it censored. We're all going to get kicked off of Twitter. Thanks, Patriots. Dude,
Oh my gosh.
we're all going down.
Isn't that amazing?
We're yelling timber.
We're yelling there. Look at that. So look at this, guys.
Down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance.
You know who recorded that, Liz?
I'm
What?
going. I got it recorded. It's all done.
No, she knows who sang that first.
Oh yeah. That's the. Oh, I got the wrong thing.
It was
Here.
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. That's it.
Carol Baskin.
What is that movie again? Tiger
King.
Tiger King. I keep forgetting. But everybody's needs
You want
to.
to watch the worst? I mean, it's
LK Dark to Light says that won't let him retweet the tweet I just did.
What?
Isn't that
because
funny?
we're all going down.
Wait, hold on. Ready, guys?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put it on.
Dude, we just had 1111 click by. I just saw it. Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no. Liz is playing music.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance.
Oh, here we go.
Sing it.
Let's go. I was going to make me do that.
What'd you stop her for?
Hey, Jenna Jameson's watching our stuff right now.
Yeah, Jenna actually follows the Matrix. There's Tanette Booth out here too, who's amazing.
She's
I just retweeted her today.
Jenna Jameson's never gonna remember me, but when I used to go to all the UFC fights when I was like into all that stuff, like back in the day, I used to sit right behind her and Tito in the VIP booth because like that's a whole nother Jerry Springer, but yeah.
Wow, where are we going?
I love Jenna Jameson. She is one of my that chick.
Twitter is lit up with Q stuff lately.
Oh yeah, I've asked her for a interview.
Let me tell you something.
He's a patriot.
She's 100%.
Absolutely.
I just retweeted her today.
Whatever crap people want to talk about that girl is awesome.
Yes, she is.
Nobody talks crap. We know she's a patriot, brother.
If you want to be a follower in Christ, we can all be forgiven, and we can all we're all screwed up. There's nobody that's not perfect.
That's right.
So it just depends on what level you're messed up and where you come to Christ.
There's Jenna Jameson right there. She does follow them in the Matrix. There she is. Jenna, if you're watching, we love you very much, and you're a patriot. I've actually messaged her.
My wife is actually donating money to us right now. What the hell?
Jenna, you're amazing, and keep up the good work. We love you so much.
And just so people know, she was trafficked into that industry.
Yes.
I will tell you right now, I love and respect Jenna Jameson for her courage, for her bravery, and all the things that she does for this fight. And I just want, if she's listening, I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, we all love you, Jenna. Thank you very much for standing up.
You guys, JFK Jr., the John F. Kennedy Jr. account just shared our watch party.
Yep. Yeah, JFK Jr. is awesome. I'm sure we've got many retweets here. We've got a lot of people here still today, right now. How many we got out there? We got 2,438 people watching right now.
Are you kidding? Still talking to our weirdest?
Yeah, we had over 3,000 during the view, and I'm sure this is going to climb again because it was
absolutely captivating.
Amazing.
Everyone was stuck to their screens, man. I mean, I was watching the chat and just the response you're getting, bro. I mean, I can't tell you.
I am so honored. I'm so honored, and I'm so glad that you got. You guys understand. I spent 9 months in editing, and Brad and Liz were like, "Come on, man, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh God, dude." I'm like, "This is so hard." Because you don't want to go too far.
Well, the problem, like what you were saying, Mike, is like the story lies sometimes in the edit, right? So sometimes you have the intention of shooting one thing, but it ends up being another thing. And while you're trying to create your first vision and it doesn't work out, you got to re-edit until you find what works.
Absolutely. But Brad, being the filmmaker that you are, you know that. And a lot of times it's like, you don't know this. Like you think you're going to tell one story, but it takes you a little different place.
Everybody, I'm thanking John F. Kennedy Jr. He tweeted our watch party right here. So thank you, kind sir.
Yeah, I wonder who really is running that account. Simba.
It's going down. You know, we did that dig too. You know what holds up the tunnels?
Timber.
Yes. Now it's concrete. Yeah, and Jed Bush actually. Timber, the tunnels.
Okay, I'm gonna share something with you guys.
That's so funny, but Jenna Jameson just tweeted that earlier.
Yeah.
What did she tweet?
She might have got that. So we had a dig
about the children in the tunnels, and I retweeted her just today.
Yeah.
So we had a dig.
I was DMing with Jenna right before, literally right before we went live tonight. We were DMing back and forth on Instagram.
She's amazing. And so
no, I'm friends with Jenna.
I'm friends with Jenna. No, I'm friends with Jenna. No, I am. And she's absolutely amazing. And I actually know somebody that knows her really well. And she actually, DM me back. She doesn't do a lot of interviews, but let's hope that she comes out and does one soon, Liz.
Hey, tell her to follow me because she actually knows me. She doesn't know she knows me.
Okay, I'll let her know. I'll definitely. When I get off here, I'll put follow Crux.
Hey, follow me, bro.
Yeah.
Follow Shady too.
Follow Shady. You know, guys, this has been amazing. So our dig, we did that dig on 1917, right? Did you guys? I don't know if you saw that, Mike, because I know you've been busy. But basically, we had the tunnels there is a tunnel war in Germany in 1917. Our president keeps saying 1917, right? So I went over, Shady and I, we're like, oh my God, 1917. And I found this tunnel thing. And I think somebody actually said that. It was the tunnels of the mine battles of Messene, right? And here they are right there. And basically it had, let's think some Q posts, right? So it had this. It had right here, it was the evening before the attack. Oh, wait, here it is. You got to read this part first. So June 7 to 14 June 1917, which is Flag Day and POTUS's birthday, this war ended. The First World War series underground explosive charges that were detonated by the British Army beneath the German lines near the village of Messen, French, in Belgium, it's West Flanders. The mines secretly planted by British tunneling units created 19 large craters and are estimated to have killed approximately 10,000 German soldiers. Their joint explosion ranks among the largest non-nuclear explosions of all time. DEFCON 1, non-nuclear. Q-post, right? So that's it right there in Mother of All Bombs. And when do you call a plumber is also a Q-post. The evening before the attack, General Sir Charles Harrington, Chief of Staff, 2nd Army, General Sir Herbert Plummer, remarked to the press, "Gentlemen, I don't know whether we are going to make history tomorrow, but at any rate, we shall change the geography." The Battle of Messene marked the zenith of mine warfare, and it ended on June 14th, which is Flag Day. Also, if you look down here, look at this. Example of mine gallery with timber support roof. So I just wanted to show you guys that. And today, timber could be what? Timber could be concrete.
Concrete replaced timber.
Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you. Thought it was odd. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. So guys, wow. Congratulations on that doc, man. There's so many people that are going to watch that thing. And Mike's on the phone, I think. Oh, sorry.
No, I got you though.
There you go. There you are. Brad, so wow, dude. Your part there at the end when you were talking about, how it affected you and why you're doing it was absolutely phenomenal. Very heart touching. Like I said, I'm not crying, you're crying, man.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I mean, we actually even talked about it too, because Mike and Liz both redid their interviews just for better lighting and better cinematography. And they offered it to me too. And I'm like, shoot, I could do it. Should I do it? Should I not? And because I was super emotional then. That was the one time where I realized that, I'm making a huge shift right now and I'm committing to something that's going to really transform my career path right now. So yeah, it was a big moment for me. So I chose not to redo my interview, but there'll be more.
It's amazing. And, I know people are clamoring for more out there. So let's see what we got. Any questions out there for Brad? Let me see if I know the mods were grabbing some questions too. Let's see if we got any extra questions here. Are you guys okay if we share your video on your YouTube accounts with a slightly different title as to avoid deletion of the algorithm?
That would be a Mike question, I think.
Yeah, that would be a Mike question. Let's see. Let's see. So, somebody said if you make another, they'll send you 500. How about send 500 now and they can make it so they can make another? How about that?
Yeah.
Wait. What's happening?
Somebody said, dude, you do another and I'll send you 500. How about send 500 now?
Don't send this.
I'm saying it. You don't have to say anything. Shush, you back off.
No, here's the deal.
I'm your marketing guy right now.
No, stop. Here's the deal, because this is the way it ought to go.
Yeah.
If what you put out is good, people will give you money for it.
That's for sure.
What you put out is not good, you don't need any money for it.
Mike, we got a question here from somebody who says, are you guys okay if we share your video on YouTube accounts with a slightly different title to avoid deletion by the algorithms?
Do your thing, girl or boy, whoever you are.
Yep.
And all I care about is getting the truth out there.
Right.
So as long as you're not monetizing it or trying to make money off of it, Brad, Mike, and Liz don't care.
There you go. So boom.
They want you to bring them back to the Zoom, Matrix.
So
they're in the Zoom, I think, aren't they?
No, not on the screen.
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh. I thought they were. I'm so sorry, guys.
Here, watch this.
Display capture. I should have been on Zoom. There you go. There you go. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah.
No, hey, here's the message I want to give to all the Anons. We're all in this together. I don't care how it gets out there. We put Brad, Mike, Liz, and Kevin, we put this out to get the message out, okay? As long as you don't monetize it, as long as you're not trying to make money off of what we did, spread it, share it, do whatever you want. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I just want the message out there. I just want this to be a conversation starter, okay? So that's my only thing as a filmmaker. Other than that, look, you can come find, like me, Brad, and Liz are going to do other stuff. And Kevin, for sure. So.
Not Matrix.
Or Shady.
Well, hold on. I'll hold your hair if you guys get sick.
All right.
I know. I'm just saying, dude, like right now, we've already edited stuff that we could just put out. But we were like, well, what if no one likes this?
It looked to me like you guys had probably like 2 or 3 times the amount that you were able to get into that. I mean,
have no idea what we cut out of this. I mean, I probably have 4 or 5 hours more of research that we didn't even use because we're like, okay, we're going too far in this topic. Okay, we're going too far on that topic. All we're trying to do with this was what Joe M did with Q's Plan to Save the World. Let's give the overview. We can go deep in that. And dude, Shady, Matrix, I can say, hey, Shady, I know you know this topic very well. Let's use your knowledge and I'll help you create a video that goes here. And I could direct 12 more videos like that. But I just want to make sure people are digging what we're doing. Like, I mean, who knows? I mean, like I see tons of videos on YouTube and wherever, whatever, and they get a few likes and nobody's like, oh yeah, whatever. Well, we didn't know how this was going to turn out. We don't.
That's kind of a little bit different as well. But, the reality of the situation is, I think a big part of what everyone's understanding is we're all sick to death and tired of the pretty dressed up fancy people on the TV that are set there and paid huge salaries to tell us what to think. And we've all learned together over the last couple of years that the truth is.
Can I give you the coolest analogy of that, what you just said? How popular was Game of Thrones?
Right?
Somebody answer the question. Liz, Brad, whoever.
Barry.
It was arguably the most popular show on television or whatever for 3 or 4 years. Besides 1 or 2 characters, how many of those actors did you know?
Right.
None.
Yeah.
None of them.
I've never seen
None
it.
of them. Why?
None.
Were they great actors? All of them?
Just the short dude.
Oh, Peter Dinklage? Oh, I knew him. but I mean, they're all phenomenal actors. Like really, I mean, that show is incredibly well done. Correct?
Yep.
Okay, so that show is an example of you don't need big stars to fund a movie.
Right.
But Brad can attest to this. If Mike and Brad write a script and we walk into I'm not gonna name names. If we walk into any studio and we go, hey, I got a great script, the first question you're gonna get asked is, who's attached? Well, why? Well, because they make money in foreign pre-sales. That's how it all. There's this formula how it all works. So my thing is like, why? I mean, like when Tom Cruise was not Tom Cruise and he was just some dude from wherever he was from, people loved him. Why not find the new Tom Cruise or the new Brad Pitt or the new whatever? That's what I think the world will change to. And Game of Thrones is a perfect example of there are many talented actors out there that aren't in the mainstream light. Just like American Idol or The Voice has shown you how many thousands of talented singers have come on those shows and they pick the one. Oh, we need a Latino crossover pop star that can do country. Oh, we need a blah blah blah. They're looking for someone who they want to prop up. It's not. It doesn't mean they're the most talented. It means what they're looking for.
They're looking for someone that will play the game.
Or, well, I won't go that far, but I'll say they're looking for a certain thing that they feel meets a demographic need they want, or whatever. So in the game of stardom, that doesn't mean that those guys are the best actors. It just means that they're who they chose to play those parts.
Right on. Yeah, I mean it's the content and you know, but in Hollywood it's about who, and you know it takes a lot of money for these guys to, you know, get these people to the point where they have them. You know what I'm saying? With the MK Ultra, with the.
Well, I'm just saying, the new world looks like you can make great product, and you don't have to have all these
exactly. Agree.
You can find great actors who aren't the ones that we're told we have to watch.
Right. It's who they can exploit, says JC007. That's
dude,
for
man.
sure.
I mean, there's truth to that, but Brad, I'm just saying, like, look, man, there's a lot of talented people out there that never get an opportunity.
100%.
But keep the actors hungry too. You take like some of these actors, sometimes, I'm not saying they all do, but sometimes these high price actors phone it in. They know they got an easy gig. They just got to be themselves on camera, and they don't have to do much. And you want a hungry actor that has the talent. You want to see like that magic brought to screen. And you know, I think that it just let people work for the spot rather than just idolizing these false heroes.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very well.
Very well said. Very well said. Wow. So guys, man, what an amazing night. What an amazing premiere you guys had. So honored that you guys, you know, had it here with us, man.
JFK Jr. just retweeted our movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
know. We showed that. Yeah, Shady Groove retweeted it too, you know.
I retweeted it, so it did.
And so did I. You guys are gonna be freaked out at the retweets that you guys get on this, man.
Tomorrow, I think you're gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, "OMG."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm reading
know
so many comments. They're amazing, you guys. They're so good.
You guys have 12,000 subscribers on your YouTube already.
What?
Yep. And right now you're sitting at 17,000 views.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
You know what's funny is all the three of us and Kevin wanted was just to put the truth out there and let people think for themselves. And I'm so glad that we framed. You know, there's two people I want to thank that I don't want to say their names because they probably don't want me to say their names, but I am so grateful for their skill set and to be part of this production, that they work behind the scenes, and you are only as good as the team you assemble. And Brad knows that, and Liz knows that, and Kevin knows that. And so it's a team effort. You know, I may have been leading the team, but I was blessed enough to have a great team behind me. And you are only as good as your team. So I want to thank them privately, publicly. I love you all. Thank you. Because this never would have happened without you.
Amen. Amen. That's what I tell Shady every day. It is though.
Come on, bro.
Shady's can stand on his own. He's a star. Guys, I really want to thank you one more time. And Liz, God bless you. You're amazing. And I think this video, you too, Brad, my God, you're freaking phenomenal. And Mike, you and producing and directing and your editors and like you said, the team behind you, well done. I'm standing ovation right now for you.
Bravo.
And I want to take us out with something that is kind of like what you touched on a little bit. And it's about where we go one, we go all, and it is worldwide. This is where we go one world, we go all worldwide. Let's take a listen. And I'm going to put the sound down.
Wait, can I say one more thing before you do this?
Yeah.
People are asking me, I'm getting thousands of tweets about this. Is this going to be in German?
Somebody's already making it in Chinese. We got somebody making it in Chinese already for you.
Really?
Yeah, people could help out with that. That would be amazing.
And Japanese. I'm already seeing they're translating to Japanese.
We have a Q Army Japan.
Literally
we got it in Q Army Japan.
We got it. Q Army Japan's already working on it. We're gonna put it in Q Army Korea. So we'll get it there worldwide, my friend.
If you guys could do, wow.
They do our shows too.
Yes.
The Anons are amazing.
Yep.
Thank you.
Really
man.
You're viral.
Well, can I just as a human being just say I love you?
Yeah.
And thank you guys. I lived in Berlin. Können Sie mir sieben Uhr bitte?
That's good.
No, I can have a wake up call at 7 a.m. That's the only thing I remember.
Get him back on the screen.
I love my German people.
He's already there.
I lived in there. I lived in Berlin for 6 months, and I love Germany. I love all the countries I worked in. But if you guys could help us interpret what we just did,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, we had a message saying that somebody had to leave earlier, but they're already going to translate in Chinese, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fishing.
Yeah. So you guys, Liz, Brad, Mike, God bless you. Let's watch this. This is Where We Go One, We Go All worldwide, and I'm gonna make it so you guys can hear too. I'm gonna share the screen, and then we will head out of here, man. What a great night for you guys. Holy moly. Here we go. Let's check it.
It's an uncertain time on Earth right now. Confusion is rampant. Fear is coming at us from everywhere. It's easy to feel lost with all the noise. But I come to you today with a message of hope. People from across the world are with you.
Czech Republic. Where we go one, we go all.
Mumbai, India. Where we go one, we go all.
Ireland. Where we go one, we go all.
Milan, Italy. Where we go one, we go all.
Mississippi, United States of America. Where we go one, we go all.
While we wait for the events to unfold, let's take a moment and imagine a future where our leaders fight for us, where love leads us, and where we look after each other once again.
Erlangen, Germany. Where we go one, we go all.
I'm from Latin America, Panama. Where we go one, we go all.
Hi, I'm from Germany, and where we go one, we go all.
Hi, I'm Caroline. I'm in the northeast of England. Where we go one, we go all.
Whatever happens in the coming weeks, we will face it together because we are the human race and our spirits cannot be broken.
Hello from Portugal. Where we go one, we go all.
Sweden. Where we go one, we go all.
Belgium. Where we go one, we go all.
Greece. Where we go one, we go all.
Spain. Where we come one, we go all.
Lisbon, Portugal. And where we go one, we go all. Yeah, man.
West Central Wisconsin. Where we go one, we go all.
So have faith and zero fear. Where we go one, we go all.
That's it. That's the message right there, guys. Where we go one, we go all. This documentary couldn't have came out at a better time, guys. And I think we're going to head out of here. Brad.
Perfection, guys.
Mike.
Thank you.
Liz. Shady. You guys are amazing. God bless you. Please share this movie. outofshadows.org. Get it out there.
We're going to have Brad and Liz and Mike back next week with Kevin Ship on the channel here. So stay tuned for the shows next week. It's going to be a
Are we coming on Tuesday or when? What's the day?
Yeah, you said Tuesday, but you just let us know, my friend.
Tell us.
Well, Brad, I'm down.
Check my calendar, dude.
Sounds great.
Have your agent call my agent, Brad. We'll do lunch, okay?
Have your guy call my guy.
What'd you say, Liz?
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
got a message from Sun Q Sue.
Yeah.
Can I read it to you?
Absolutely.
I'm about to cry. My 15-year-old daughter just burst into tears after watching your documentary. She was overwhelmed. She gave us a chance to really have a deep talk with her. That was powerful, brother. I'm sending this link to General Flynn tomorrow. He showed up in one of our DM groups this morning. He let us know he's watching. Most powerful documentary I've ever watched.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's
That's
amazing.
what I saw.
Friend, if you're listening, brother, thank you so much for the sacrifice that you've given us. And let me get soup. Thank you. I'm so overwhelmed. I just pray for you and your family. Thank you.
I do too. Sun Q Sue is. I'm in a group with you too as well with him. Amazing guy. I've gotten to know him. We've talked. He retweeted it out the day you guys came on for us too.
He's a human being, and he fights for the truth.
He does every day.
I know I can't say what he does, but he fights for the children.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
And he does it for no money because he's a Christian patriot, and he's on the side of good, and I love him so much. And I just want if Sun Q-Sue, if you're listening, I love you, brother.
Yeah, he wrote Shady and I said it was awesome. I have to finish the rush shortly. This is the interview that we did with you. I was listening when Q dropped this post and thought it was timely how Hollywood hides their crimes, labeled it a conspiracy. That was during our show, if you remember. And Mike and Liz were great. You and Shady had great questions. I'm concerned for Mike and his family, and he prays for your safety. And when this documentary runs, so
can I tell you this?
Yeah.
Don't worry about me, brother. God's protecting me. I'm under the full grace of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir.
And I got the Second Amendment, and I got Brad in my skill set, and I got a dog that'll eat your face.
You sure do. He's awesome too, boy. All right, guys. Wow. Thank you very much, guys. And we're gonna go ahead. Oh, you got your pup. Okay, I didn't. Let me stop share. You got your pup there? Let me get over there. Hang on, pup. Pup, where are you? There you are. Hi, puppy.
Hey, Ranger. Ranger. Hey, Ranger.
He's so cute. Hi, Ranger.
You gonna lick my face off, you little beautiful little doggy, you.
Congratulations.
Liz, call his name.
Ranger. Hey, Ranger.
You can't see him, but he's got his ears up.
Oh,
Mike, say something now.
I love you guys.
There's Ranger. Too funny. All right, you guys, we're going to head out of here. My God, you guys are amazing. I cannot believe how honored I am to have you guys here, too. Shady and I are so honored. Everybody out here is happy, and just what great response. So, guys, call me tomorrow, Mike, if you want, or a little later. We'll be heading out of here, guys.
Hey, I just wanted to say I love you all. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thank you so much, Shady.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
Love you,
Liz. Love you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna take us
Brother,
out of here.
love you, brother.
Love you,
Mike.
dude.
Love you, Liz.
Love you guys.
My gosh.
Hi, Top Boy.
You guys are amazing. So we're gonna get out of here with silent running. How about that? Let's get out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Get over there. Outofshadows.org. Can you hear me? Can you hear me running? Let's go. God bless you all. Happy Easter.